Hey guys, jumping right back into where we left off. Okay, so let me quickly read through this and then I'll pick back up where I think I left off because I don't know. Okay, pretty. Okay, originally they charged him with 2 counts of carjacking. Okay, they had to drop the 1 count because they determined that there was only one car. Remember that there were 2 counts per person per this one act. So they charged him with 2 counts of carjacking. But during the deliberation, the judge was like, you cannot charge with two carjackings because that can actually end up being double jeopardy because there was only one car and there was only one car alleged to be carjacked. Now, y'all know in the last video, I was trying to tell you guys that they claimed that Marcello had walked up to the people at the car, said, hey, you want a cigarette? No, I'm sorry. He said, hey, do you have a cigarette? And the guy that was sitting in the car just said he was sitting there with his companion. They were in the car and Marcello approached, said, do you have a cigarette? He said he lifted his head down to look and he was about to lift his head up and say, hey, all I have is Slims. And when he did lift his head up, he said he felt cold steel against his nose. Okay. Could you not? Y'all, this is not funny.
Why are you putting it against your nose?
I'm showing what happened. Okay, that introduced the weapon. They said then Marcello proceeded to tell him, get in the back seat, get in the back seat. And then they got in the back seat. Marcello jumps into the driver's seat. His cousin jumps into the passenger seat. But then Marcello realizes, hey, I can't drive a stick shift. This is a stick shift. And he then makes his cousin change seats with him and makes his cousin drive. This is how they made Marcello the head of the crime. So he makes his cousin drive. The other two, they're in the back seat and they're being robbed and basically just carjacked. Now, the part that I left off at is if all of that is true, why did they withhold the surveillance tapes in the parking lot? Because the surveillance tapes in the parking lot would have shown every action that they said happened. It would have shown Marcello approach that car. It would have shown Marcello and his cousin switch sides. It would have shown that car coming out that driveway. So why withhold that? Because that would have proved the state's case beyond a shadow of a doubt. So if you're proving your case, why are you withholding it? That doesn't make sense. That's like me saying that I know that you stole this and I got you on camera and I'd be like, yeah, okay, so let me see it. No, I don't have to let you see it. It doesn't exist. But that doesn't make sense. Why would you withhold that if it's in your favor? You would release that all day, every day. Amen. So Marcello says, okay, we can't get the club surveillance because they lied and said there was no surveillance in the club's parking lot, which in fact, I find out right after that there's club surveillance. You know how? Because there was another robbery in the same parking lot and they say they found their suspect through what? The parking lot surveillance.
Amen.
Okay, so they said Marcello walked up to the car and demanded that they get in the back. They allege that Marcello, they focus in on Marcello. I can't read my handwriting, Money, while you laughing. I cannot read my handwriting. Okay, so it's in permanent marker, y'all. And I got bad handwriting anyway. I'm an artist. I am not no calligrapher.
I'm pretty sure artists can write.
No, they can't. Not me, because I've tried. Okay, they allege that Marcello, and then they focus in on Marcello because they had to. They basically had to protect the driver because the driver was giving them confidential information. So at that point, because they're deleting the driver as the person that did the alleged crime, they're now focusing in on Marcello. So they had to protect the driver due to him giving the confidential information. That's what it says. That's what he gained for giving his information. So he basically gained him being not even a suspect in this case anymore. So when we went to trial, everybody was asking, even the jury was asking, so where's the driver? Like, they didn't have Teslas back then. And if they did, they weren't around. Like, they might have had them back in some back factory where cars actually drove themselves. But it was proven that Marcello was in a passenger seat. And everybody kept asking, so where's the driver? They said the driver jumped out and got away. He got away from the dogs chasing him, the police chasing him, a perimeter blocked off, a helicopter in the sky, and he got away. I would like to know how he did that, but he did. He got away. Okay. So at that point, they had to portray Marcello as the mastermind because they had to cut out that other guy, right? The driver. Okay, things that don't make sense, though, if Marcello's the mastermind. How did the driver get away? If Marcello,
2 feet. He ran. How else?
Okay, that is, but how you can outrun all of that? You can outrun the cops chasing you, the police dogs.
They always say the slower man gets left. That's why if a snake come, I'm tripping one of y'all, and y'all gonna
no. But how did they outran the police dog? The police. They outran
the police stopped at the first man. You tripped the first man, and they end up catching.
And they got out the helicopter. He wasn't surveilled from the overhead. So how did he avoid all of that and get away and never get caught?
Legs.
Okay.
He could have hid in a building.
And nobody seen it?
Did they not have buildings back then?
Yeah,
No.
Yo.
It was back when the dinosaurs ruled.
Okay, so if Marcello was the mastermind, why didn't he drive? Why wasn't he that driver?
Because he can't drive a stink. Oh my God. What questions are
Okay,
these?
so why was he the last to enter the car setting if he was the actual person committing the crime? Which that also could have been proved when Marcello got into that vehicle, because we asked. Marcello said he was just at that 7-Eleven on the corner. We said, okay, cool. The club doesn't have surveillance, but we know 7-Eleven got surveillance. You know what they told us? Because that 7-Eleven surveillance would have proved which way Marcello was walking from first. It would have showed him come in and out that door, or it would have showed that he never was there. So it would have proved both sides still. And it would have shown that, yes, maybe just 10 minutes ago, Marcello had just left this establishment. They told us it was way too expensive to pull surveillance cameras at 7-Eleven. So we can't do that either. Okay, so now we can't get the club nor the 7-Eleven surveillance to prove Marcello's whereabouts. That's what they withheld from Marcello. Had they released that, whether it was in his favor or not in his favor, Marcello would have been able to prove his case. Like, it would have either said, hey, sir, you really were there, or hey, sir, you wasn't there. But why? If it was true what they were saying, what I'm trying to say, why would they withhold this? It doesn't make sense. Why are you withholding it if you're clearly wrong and I'm right?
Amen.
Okay. So why aren't his fingerprints found on the car? Or were they? Yo, this is not funny. This is dramatic. Because they do that on ID channel all the time.
Is this IB channel?
Yes, I watched enough to know.
ICD channel.
I watched enough. Or were they?
IB channel at home.
They claimed that none of Marcello's fingerprints were found. Not on the car, and not on the two, as I get through my notes, not on the two guys' wallets that they claim Marcello held in his hand. They said they did not find none of Marcello's fingerprints. Okay, so let's go with that. Let's finish down these notes really quickly. I only have one more page left as they interrupt through this. This is not a game. I know we laughing and joking, but baby, this is my life.
That you wasted.
Okay.
Why you look like that?
Because I'm trying to see where I left off.
You can't read no more?
No, Isaiah. Hey.
Hey.
Y'all, I'm being for real now.
I'm being for real too.
Why aren't the prints found on the car, or were they? Okay, so the next thing says, why wouldn't they dust the wallets for Cello's fingerprints?
Who's Cello?
That's why they had to make up this scenario of the alleged $60 being outside the wallet. Okay, so now Marcello was, I can't pause the video.
I have a question.
What's the question?
So why you always do that? $60.
I explain it over and over. Okay.
But you always say 60.
Because I have to say
Just
it that
say
way.
$60.
But no, I'm saying it like basically, what is that word?
Sarcastic.
Yeah, sarcastically. Because so if you already knew, why would you ask me the question?
But I'm just saying that's so unnecessary. You don't have to say
No,
it
you
every
have
time.
to, because I'm proving a point with that. Okay, so to make up the scenario of the $60. Okay, so they were asked, why didn't they dust the fingerprints if Marcello definitely took the two guys' wallets while inside the car? They found those wallets when the cop had those found those wallets and had his hands basically on it. Why were they not dusted for Marcello's fingerprints? Then that's when they said that Marcello tried to take their wallets, said, give me your wallets. And he opened the wallets and there was nothing in the wallets. So Marcello said, no, I know you got to have something. You got to have something on him, on you. And this is not over till you give me something. You gonna give me something. This is basically what they saying. So then one guy says he remembers, oh, I have the $60 that I borrowed from my friend, the bartender. Here, Mr. Jackson, you can have this if you just let us go. That's what they said. So that kind of explains away why they did not dust those wallets. But that also came up in court. Why didn't you dust the wallets? You had the wallets. Why didn't you dust it? So they're saying that none of Marcello's fingerprints showed up on the car when dusted, and also on the wallets. I believe that to be a lie. And you know why I believe that to be a lie?
No.
How could Marcello's fingerprints not be on that car if he was clearly riding in the car and he opened the door to get in the car? So let's go with their scenario. Marcello opened the driver's side, jumped in the driver's side. So fingerprints should be on that driver's side door.
Gloves.
Then also, when they changed and ran around, and his cousin ran around as well. Marcello, when they arrested Marcello, they didn't find no gloves. Marcello was not.
1800s. Everybody wore gloves.
Marcello, they would have had those gloves. They arrested him, and they have a picture of how he was arrested. So there were no gloves.
And some revolvers.
So
1800s.
why weren't Marcello's fingerprints at least on the door handles?
He used his feet.
When they, if you don't stop, you doing like they doing, trying to make him guilty no matter what. So basically, his fingerprints had to have been somewhere on that car because he was inside the car. So now the question that I ask is, why would you want to withhold that? Because that can prove your case. Well, the reason they would want to withhold those fingerprints is because guess what? Somebody else's fingerprints on that car.
For real?
Who they trying to protect?
They're trying to protect
Those
somebody.
fingerprints could have possibly shown exactly who was the driver.
For real?
But now they got to protect him because he's giving confidential evidence. So anything that could, it would work in their favor, but it would incriminate who we got to protect. So we have to delete that. So they came to court saying there's no fingerprints of Marcello's found on the car. They also said we had the wallets. Marcello had the wallets, but we didn't dust the wallets for fingerprints. Why didn't they dust them wallets for fingerprints? Well, possibly those dusting of those wallets would have shown that Marcello fingerprints weren't at all on those wallets.
For real?
The only people's fingerprints on those goddamn wallets were the owners of those wallets.
Kitty, you should make a
And you
YouTube
know
video
how?
about this.
You know how? Because one of the guys, miraculously, once the car stops, somehow he got his own wallet. The wallet never left him. And they asked, is she tearing up my notes?
Yes.
I'm glad I done got through. Princess, you getting too happy with those. Give me those. I spent all day. Y'all really messing up this video. Y'all, I'm sorry. This is not usually how I record, girl.
This is exactly how she records.
Not at all.
She liked to record ghetto.
No. No. So, and now you make me lose my train of
She
thought.
shows y'all how it is to live in the hood.
Y'all,
Wallets.
what about the wallets?
About how he miraculously got it.
Oh, yeah. How did he get his own wallet in the end? And there was so many stories because Marcello clearly took his wallet, right? So how did this guy get his wallet back? Okay, and then the other guy said that his wallet, now this is the biggest part, why I really want to go through the transcript. Okay, so they asked the other guy, how did he get his wallet? The police said he gave his wallet back to the guy, that the wallet was actually found, he said, on the floorboard of the car.
Oh my God.
Which previously the guy was sitting in that seat. He could have dropped his own wallet.
For real?
But let me tell you, the police report said that the wallet was found on the floor. Now, when the guy was questioned in court, they asked him, how did you get your wallet back? The guy said, my wallet was found on the ground. And they said, hold on, the ground? Didn't you say, wait, what does the report say, that it was found on the floor? He said, yeah, on the floor. He said, hold on now, you just said it was on the ground, which the ground could have been when Marcello got out the car, the wallet fell out of his possession onto the ground. So they said, hold on, was your wallet found on the ground or on the floor? He said it was on the floor ground. They said, what, a floor ground? He said, yeah, it was on the floor ground. I promise y'all, it's in the transcript. You want to read them?
Yes.
And basically, he didn't know where his wallet was. His wallet was on the floorboard.
His wallet was on the floor ground too.
What is a floor? On a floor ground. So it was never proven that Marcello had them wallets. So basically, they could have proved that if they wanted to. If he indeed had them wallets, what would make you not want to dust those wallets?
Peter, you're making such a big deal out of nothing. He's guilty.
Okay, so why? Okay, so remember, the guys had wallets that Marcello clearly stole and robbed from them, but he had no money. So Marcello was like, give me all your money. I'm not stopping this situation until I get your money. I need all your money.
Robs like that.
I'm just, acting it out.
This situation.
Because they were saying, please let us go. Just please let us go. And Marcello was like, no, allegedly, no, this is going to happen. You need to give me some money.
You need to stop recording this series. I wanna see more of me.
So why didn't they said that they remembered that they had money that they had borrowed from their friend, the bartender. So my question is, why didn't they question the bartender? If in fact This comes into a Canvas report. Where the heck is the Canvas report? Where are the people that they questioned in this situation? Where are they? Where's all the witnesses, right? Okay, so if in fact he did loan his friend $80,
Kita,
why didn't he just say, okay, so let's go ask the bartender. Bartender, did you really loan these guys $80? And then if it in fact happened, I'm sure his bartender friend would have been like, yes, I did loan them $80.
Kita,
Isaiah, I have to say it that way.
you don't.
Okay.
Just
Isn't it
crazy
odd
words.
that they wouldn't dust the wallets? Crazy. That would have proved their case. And they said they dusted the car for prints, but it didn't turn up Marcello's prints, right? They say they dusted the car with prints. But how long does it take to dust the car?
Forever.
That's not seamless.
Because they gave the car back to the two within a couple of hours, within moments, leaving the scene. They gave them the car back. And they had headed right back to the club. And it was on trial. They was like, so hold on. You were at the club. You were robbed. You were made to get in the backseat of your car. Someone pulled off with you. Don't know where. They're demanding money from you. Why did you go back to the club? The same club you were just in fear of your life from. They said that they had to go back to drink so that they can deal with what was going on, what had just happened to them.
You wrong for that.
And then
Damania, she's gonna break her spinal cord. Look.
actually that makes no sense because they said they had been there for a while during the day and was ready to go. So if you listen to their testimony, they said that they were actually at that club during the day for hours. They had chilled out, whatever, watched some shows. So if that is the case, why would you go right back to the club after all of it was over? Remember, Marcello allegedly attempted to rob them as they were going home from being at the club all day. So why would you head right back there once you had just got, in fear for your life and robbed and all of that?
Why not?
Why would you?
Why not?
Isaiah, you are playing around.
Why not? Who's gonna stop me? Wouldn't there be a crime scene right there? You licking your lips just like Jordan.
Okay, and they said that they were already there for a while. That's odd to me because the shows that they claim they were watching, right? The world famous shows that attracted many from all around. Those shows didn't even start till almost midnight.
What were the shows?
So how did they watch those shows during the day? Were ready to go home. They had just borrowed the money from their bartender friend.
On demand?
They were ready to go home.
On demand?
But then somehow they miraculously get through this and then they had to head back to the club to get a drink. The reason being, the only reason they left that club, they had just arrived to that club. And the only reason they left that club is because they left that club with that cousin to go get right. And once they had gotten right, they were coming back to the club to enjoy that
Who they got
dance.
right with?
That is what was really happening.
Who they got right with?
And on the way to going to go get right,
Why you saying it like that?
because you don't say that on YouTube.
Kitty,
And
when
on
you
the
say you
way
going
to go
right,
get right,
Kitty, you letting your boyfriend
Marcello-
go get right with some other girl?
Isaiah,
Takita.
I'm being for real now,
You
please.
letting him go get right with some other girl?
That is not what get right means.
That's exactly what it means.
As-
Damania. Tell your mother.
Okay, we don't use legal names. I have to stop this
Tell
video.
your mother.
This is not how I'm trying to do this. This is not what I'm trying to portray.
This is exactly what you're trying to do.
No, I'm not. I clearly
She
cannot
loves being
pause this.
tacky.
So they're doing this on purpose. This is very serious to me.
Anything to you.
This is very serious to me.
Okay.
This has really been my
get
life
blamed for
work.
something I was quiet the whole time.
Demadia, you blamed me out there, so
Okay. So that was what was really happening. That's how it really played. But they made this into being something completely different. They were going to get right in the hood that was right there. Where that club sat is all hood around it. Many people came to that club to patronize it, but that neighborhood was not the best neighborhood. That's why they said a lot of their patrons were being attacked in the parking lot, which means I would think that they would up security rather than not have security.
we in the hood.
Okay, so they said they had been there for a while and was ready to go. And they had been watching the shows. That was a lie. Wasn't no shows during the day. I know a person that patronized that club many times. And anybody you ask, girl, when do the shows start? They all said midnight. What shows they had during the day?
They was watching it on their brick phone.
Okay, so the world famous and attracted many from all over did not start to midnight. Means they actually made it back for the from that whole ordeal. Now, they didn't get high like they wanted to.
I was gonna go to the club, but then I got high.
But all in all, they got back in time to still see the show. It was also lied and said that there were no surveillance in the parking lot. Why would there be no surveillance in a club/hotel in the parking lot?
Amen.
And they had several attacks in that parking lot. Even a body was found in the lake behind that parking lot in that club. So I ask, why would the club/hotel not have surveillance? That's a liability. Like, that doesn't even make sense. They also lied and said that there was no security in the parking lot that night. It was a Sunday night. Sunday was one of the biggest nights, and especially on the night of the dance. People were just arriving to that club. Why would there not be, number one, okay, you say there's no surveillance. Now you're saying there's no security. Why would you not have security in the parking lot on your biggest night, one of your biggest nights? And they also claimed there was nobody else in the parking lot but the two guys, Marcello and his cousin. Now, how all this together just conveniently makes no witnesses. There's nobody else around to witness this happening at the club. Okay, so why would that be true? Because of the same reasons. So where there were no other witnesses, they alleged that the parking lot was empty. There was no way the lot was empty. And that's where I left off with my notes. I might try to read through these again straight through because it was a lot of interaction in this one, and I'm really trying to take this serious. What's the question?
So like you said, there was no witnesses.
No, they said that. I don't believe it.
The reason why there was no witnesses is because they in the hood. People know to mind their business. They ain't trying to get shot.
But the police said that he seen that car come out the parking lot. So the police would have had to witness that as well from 100 some miles away. I mean, not miles, feet away, past 2 blocks. He seen that. And then also there's people constantly pulling into a club. If you're seeing basically a carjacking happen, you still finna pull in the club and park and go ahead in.
I'm gonna mind my business. I ain't trying to get shot.
Yeah.
I see
Okay.
with a gun jacking
That
me,
really,
bro. I ain't gonna get shot.
that doesn't make any sense.
It
Ain't
makes
nobody
sense.
money being for real. You would do that.
Mm.
You would do that. You see that this carjacking, and plus this now, this is a main highway that people frequent all night long. That street don't sleep. If you know where this club is, that street
Where is
don't
it at?
sleep. There are people outside walking all times of night, and it's on a main
Where
highway.
is it at?
And it was a hotel, so there were people staying the night. So how was there nobody around?
Where is it at?
I believe they're Xing all these witnesses and all this surveillance and all this security not being there so that they cannot rely on anything but the word of the two guys who are going to say whatever they want them to say because they don't want to be marked as having substances, because that would have been a substance charge for them. So they were trying to avoid charges themselves. And also, they want it to align with what the police said. So if another person is going to come through and tell the truth, no, I ain't never seen no carjacking happen in this. I mean, let's run the surveillance back. They're not going to do anything that opposes what that cop said, because that cop wrote that report. They're going to back what he said. So anything that proves anything other than what he said, they're going to get rid of it. And that's what happened. All right, guys, I'm sorry for all of this. People don't take this as serious as I do. I'm really trying to.
This is her entire life.
It has been, honestly, and it's sad, but this has been my life. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Hiss your girl Cadillac.